So I'm at a friend's house watching his two dogs for the day, and um, I wanted to talk about. I did a video where I talked about something that was really disturbing to me, and I decided I needed to remake it because it was too angry of a video because I made it right after the moment. But what happened was I loaded myself up with Bible tracts and went to a dog park with the sole intention of handing out tracts to people. From livingwaters.com, I got these really cool tracts, dog training tips and trivia, and I figured what dog owner wouldn't love having something like that, right? Just walk up to them and say, hey, did you get one of these? And hand it to them. They're going to be like, oh, that's cool. Put it in their pocket, take it home, they read it later. And of course, on the back is a nice little message. So I went to this dog park with the sole intent of giving those out, and wouldn't you know it, the enemy threw a stumbling block in front of me, and I allowed it to actually work. So what happened was somebody at the dog park started insulting my dog knowledge, and by the things he was saying, if you were knowledgeable about dogs and dog training, you would have seen where he was very mistaken in his information about dogs and dog language. And a lot of his terminology he used was even incorrect. He didn't know the difference between a service dog and a therapy dog. And if you claim to be a professional dog trainer, I think you really need to know the difference between those two. And he was very insulting to me when I told him that Cookie was a therapy dog. He basically said that that's worthless. And tell that to all the people that we go visit. Okay? And he claimed to be a professional trainer and didn't know the difference between a service dog and a therapy dog, or the value of a therapy dog. So you have to question his professionalism and his knowledge and know-how. The part that really bothered me that day, there's two things. Number one, all the dog owners that were in the park at the time were inexperienced regarding dog training and dog language, and he's tooting off his mouth using all these, big training words that makes him sound like he knows what he's talking about, and he really doesn't. And he's giving all these people false information about their dog, and that really hurts me because it's the dog that suffers, And when I left there, of course, he's probably telling them, don't listen to her, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And I do. Not saying I'm the know-all of dog training, but proof is in the pudding. Watch my dog. Contact some of my clients and they'll tell you, that I know what I'm talking about. So the part that really bothered me the most, though, of course, was on the spiritual level, that I went there with the intent of trying to evangelize, and Satan knew exactly what button to push to get me off track from that, because I ended up having to walk away from this person because he was so hurtful. And I thought to myself of that scripture. It says, when you argue with a fool, you make yourself a fool. So I turned around and walked away from him because I refused to argue with him. And he said, I got what I wanted. I got you to leave the park. Well, everybody there thinks that this was about dog training, and it wasn't. The whole situation was about me evangelizing to people. This had nothing to do with dog training that day. It had to do with Satan knowing what button to push in me to make me leave so that I wouldn't evangelize. Now, the good thing about it is I walked away from that lesson learned. I'm going to be more aware of that in the future. So the next day, I went to a different dog park, and there was somebody there that I've been thinking about that I wanted to give one of these tracts to, and he was actually there. And thank you, Lord, he was there. Now, this is somebody that I know, and sometimes evangelizing to people you know can be harder than evangelizing to strangers, and especially knowing that this man is Jewish, and is questioning whether or not he believes that there's even a creator. So I just walked to him and I said, and I let him know. I let him know that what I was doing. I wanted to be honest with him. I didn't want to trick him into taking a track. I said, you know, I was thinking about you today, and I came here hoping to see you. I have something for you. And I handed him the tract, and he goes, oh, that's nice. And he started reading the front of it right there. And he goes, this is some really good advice. I go, well, you take that home, and in your quiet time tonight, I want you to read the back of it. Don't read it now. Read it later when you're at home, sitting in quiet. And he kind of looked at me funny, and I said, I have an ulterior motive. It's got a Christian message on the back. And he sincerely said, thank you. He said, I will read it later and put it in his pocket. And I'm telling you, that made me so happy. That made me so happy. So, if you've watched my channel, you might have seen some things on there about Canines for Christ. Canines for Christ is a Christian ministry. It's an outreach type ministry where we go to those in need and try to give them comfort and share the love of God, and we use our dogs to do that. All of our dogs are certified therapy dogs, and you know, we visit hospitals and nursing homes and things like that, and they've formed a crisis response unit so that we can reach out to people that have been hit by some sudden destruction. And it's a wonderful organization. But I wanted to combine the evangelizing using the tracks with the Canines for Christ. So let me show you what I did to Cookie's vest. Customize it a little. So this pocket I had to make a little shorter so that this would show, and I thought it might be good for extra cards because it's a short one. But these are some really cool ones I got from Ray Comfort, livingwaters.com. They fit in there pretty good, and it's nice because it kind of shows out. If people see it, they might be like, hey, can I have one of those? And stay. So this side I was able to make the pocket a little taller, which is nice for slightly taller tracks. We got these from another website. These, the $1 trillion ones from Ray Comfort Living Waters. I thought it was kind of nice because they kind of peek out a little bit too. People can see them and ask about them, so it's pretty neat. So what I like about adding the pockets to it is that when I go to a store or a senior center, you know, or I could just put the vest on her and walk her around the park or walk her around the block, you know, around a parking lot, or, you know, like if we go hiking, you know, I don't know if I'd put the vest on her while she was hiking, because when we go hiking, that's her off time. I don't want her to be working. But I'll certainly put tracks in my pocket. But, you know, we could walk around the parking lot at the trailhead for sure with her wearing the vest. And people see the vest, and a lot of times they ask, and you see them kind of get quiet, like maybe they think she's a service dog, and I go, oh no, she's a therapy dog, you're allowed to pet her. And you know what? The tracks are not only there for them to see, and hopefully it'll be like, oh, what's this little thing? Oh, what training tips? Hopefully they'll see that and ask for one. Or what's important is I will see them and remember to give the person one or offer them one. Because you know what? I have had tracks in my pocket and have stopped on the trail and talked to people and forgot to give them a track or offer them a track. And it, you know, and it's not that it's not important to me. It is very important to me. It's just, you know, sometimes my brain's a little distracted, and so it's not as young as it used to be. So I'm easily distracted and forget things, you know, and even though it's a priority, it's not a habit yet. And that's what I'm trying to do, is help me develop the habit of offering somebody a track every time I see them. So if Cookie's got her vest on and the tracks are in the vest, I'll see them, and it's a visual reminder for me here. Offer this person a tract, because you never know what it can do. You know, when I first joined Canines for Christ, one of the founders of it said to me, you know, when I told them, I said, I'm sad because sometimes I go into these senior centers and I cheer the person up, but you know what, I don't lead them to Christ. And he's, you know, it's like they just wanted to pet the dog. They didn't care that her vest says Canines for Christ. They didn't ask about it. They didn't ask for prayer. They denied prayer when I offered it. And you know, and while I think comforting them and helping them feel good is a good thing, of course I want to offer them Christ, because that's eternal. You know, and making them feel good today is today, but Christ is eternal. And he said to me, don't underestimate the power of the vest. People see that. That can be a seed planted, because they could walk away from you going, you know, that vest said Canines for Christ, what's that all about? And they might look it up online, or ask you about it the next time, or ask somebody else, you know, what do you think that's all about? And so you never know. You never know. You know, you're just responsible for planting a seed. It's God who's going to water it and make it grow. So I hope this video encourages you to plant a few seeds, scatter them abroad, you know. I've heard stories of people, you know, coming to Christ just because they read a tract. I mean, I read plenty of tracts. Well, not plenty, but I read a few tracts before I came to Christ. And it wasn't until I actually opened up my Bible and read my Bible. And of course, I was just a kid then. I was like 9 years old, you know. So, you know, there wasn't much in the way of tracts back then, I don't think, as there is now. It was about 100 years ago, you know. But, so just be encouraged. Be encouraged. Share that love of Christ, because remember, it's eternal. And have a really good day today. Hug your dog. Thank God for your dog. Go play with your dog. And have a good day. These are the guys I'm watching today. I have to play fetch. I have to throw this ball. It's when you see me moving, I'm picking up the ball and chucking it for the dogs. So, well, have a good day. Be blessed. And then this side, I was able to make the pocket a lot taller. That's my friend's dog you hear barking in the background.